All right, welcome. My name is Dr. Hardy, and we are going to do a curriculum. Thank you for all the teachers for showing up for our curriculum redesign meeting. Um, and the title of this kind of talk, real quick, for me to open up this is get us thinking and writing and getting ready for you to share your tech set proposals to your colleagues. Is are you a magic worksheet teacher? Are you a magic worksheet teacher? Eco Academy curriculum design project. So I'm just naming, this is the name of our pretend high school. It's the name of the high school where not Dr. Hardy, but Dr. Thor taught me. That was weird, third person. The name of the school I taught in Los Angeles. But anyway, so are you a magic workshop teacher? And this is what we're going to do. So we're going to be writing into the day, and just so you know, meta, I'm going to step out meta. I do this with teachers all the time. So before we start doing kind of like professional development, we do writing into the day. It just kind of helps generate our thoughts, get us talking, and kind of like get teachers to know each other a little bit better. So today we're going to writing into the day. So this is a quote, and you may have heard a quote like this before. So those who can do. Those who can do should be like a comma. Those who can't teach. Some random meme you may have heard or read. You probably may have internalized and giggled and laughed at that. But I want you to think critically about that, because when I hear this, I get really upset and offended. And so what kind of narratives does this create about the craft of teaching, our craft of teaching, what you're being trained and prepared to do? What kind of narratives does this have? So I want you to think and write, and I want you to think and write for about 9 minutes. So you're going to pause this video, you're going to time yourself for 9 minutes, and I want 9 sustained minutes of writing on this idea and narratives around the profession you're choosing to go into. And then you're going to share this in the discussion thread when you present your tech sets. All right, you're unpausing. 9 minutes of writing is done, and you're going to share that writing. So let's get started into my, here is my answer, my rebuttal to people that spew that kind of nonsense is those who can do, yeah, and those who understand, teach. And that may have, people call it, maybe Aristotle said that, I don't know, but I like it, so sure, maybe it's Aristotle. And so this is understand. It's not Bloom's taxonomy, low-level thinking skills. Understanding, if we're doing understanding by design, is a deep understanding of the content and how to apply that content in multiple situations, but also how to apply that content and understanding to apprentices, people that have not quite developed those skills yet. So there's a craft to teaching. And so, unfortunately, some teachers have bought into that first narrative, those who can do, those who can't teach. They've kind of internalized that narrative, and they just see themselves as maybe, people to collect a paycheck, show up, entertain some kids for a little while, and do some crossword puzzles, and to have summer vacation, right? That's kind of the myth that the narratives get constructed around being a teacher, right? You get summers off. It's must be fun to get those summers off and all that stuff. And then so I have worked with teachers when I've done professional development that just show up to professional development and go and just give me the work. Just stop talking and just give me a worksheet. Give me your whatever magic thing you have. And I call them magic worksheet teachers. They just show up and they just want kind of like an easy solve solution to very complicated problems that they're facing in their classroom. And I call them magic worksheets. Here's the thing. There are no such thing as magic worksheets. They just don't exist. And if you want to be a teacher, you're going to have to deconstruct those kind of harmful narratives that you may have internalized about, I just can give magic worksheets out, and then I can sit and sip my coffee, and then everyone will learn, and then I, start counting that to my retirement. That's just, if that's the type of job you want, then you're in the wrong major. You can do that kind of transactional kind of jobs if you want to just be like, either you want to do service industry, or if you want to go into economics where you just kind of like thinking about how to transact and use math to, eliminate redundancies and gain profit for your company. That's where you should be. If you're a magic work, go that direction. Teachers, there's a craft of teaching. We need to understand complex things. We need to be able to have a care and tact and empathy with young people, and that takes more than a magic worksheet. So if you're buying what I'm saying, then I welcome you into our profession. If you're like, I don't really, if you don't come to your ed classes and you have like, a 70% attendance rate to any of your ed classes, I'm going to say you're probably a magic worksheet teacher, and you're probably going down the wrong path. Find something that'll make you happy, that 30 years from now, when you're, in your middle ages, you're a happy, content human being. Find that. If you're a magic worksheet teacher and you're just kind of like doing it to make other people happy, then you're going to leave the profession within 5 years. Like, this profession is demanding and hard. You have not only physical labor, emotional labor, and creative labor that you have to expend. And if you're not willing, and you're not going to be compensated adequately for any of those. So it's not for the faint of heart. So again, this is my, I'm pretending. If you don't want to be that type of, if you're the magic worksheet teacher, I don't want you to be a teacher at my school. And so if we're pretending this is a school, I'd be probably inviting some teachers to, like, maybe you should go elsewhere. But if you're a teacher that understands this, then I will fight for your tenure, and because tenure is very important. And so we should always kind of fight for that kind of valuable thing of tenure. So, are you becoming one? So teaching and learning is not transactional. And I will step out. I got someone home real quick. Hey, how was your field day? Good. Recording, so you run around and have fun? Do races and water play and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bounce house.
Bounce house. So, all right, I gotta record some stuff, so we'll be in here, okay? Get your homework done. All right, sorry about that. So, again, what I was just taught, teaching and learning is not transactional. So, learning is not something you can go to McDonald's and buy. Learning is not something you can just pay SUNY Oneonta some money for credits, and that tells me that then therefore I get a hamburger of learning. It's not transactional. There's a lot of, like I said, there is physical, emotional, and creative labor involved in teaching and learning, and that is not something that can be bought and sold transactionally on using market fundamentals, if you want to talk like an economist. So that's my kind of talk. Hopefully this will inspire you to, like, okay, I'm in the right spot as a teacher, and if not, that's okay. Find something that makes you happy. So let's go to the next slide, because this is what I'm going to go over our school goals, because you're writing with your text set proposal. This is the school goals that you are going to need to attune to or comport yourself with your text set proposal. 1, our school is going to provide relevance to what kids learn and become in school, so they have the tools and dispositions to begin solving the myriad complex problems our world is facing right now. Okay. 2, we're going to be teaching and learning with care and empathy, and that's big C and big E. Care. This thing concerns me. This concept of care by Emmanuel Levinas, who was developing an ethics of care. He was a Holocaust survivor. He was in a prisoner of war camp in World War II. And he kind of developed some philosophies and developed kind of this overall ethics of care around kind of caring for others. And we are going to comport that as teachers working with our students. Okay? And the final bullet, when you're presenting this today, I want you to write how you're going to position yourself in the classroom. And teachers that I work with, that I'm going to, go on to that'll be my final hill, will be teachers in our school who position themselves as more experienced learners. Teaching and learning admits less experienced learners. So you are not the sage on stage with all the, you have all the information, you have more experience in learning and teaching and in the content, but you're going to also position yourself as a learner as well that will be willing to learn with your students. It's kind of an apprenticeship model. So those are the 3 goals that you should be attuned to as you're writing your tech set proposal. Don't be ignoring them, because if you're ignoring this, you're gonna probably the best you'll get is a 2 on your paper. Okay, so if you're ignoring this context that I'm giving you when you frame your tech set proposal, and you're gonna look, well, how come I didn't get a 3? Well, because you didn't write about these issues. You didn't set up your proposal around how our school is gonna work with young people. So our goals. So I have a walkthrough on how I design my Red Dragon seminar class on how my tech sets are. This is another one that I kind of develop on existentialism and agency. And so I can just quickly talk about a tech set that I could do around kind of if this was a block, a humanities block, because we're going to that'll be a surprise for Module 3. And this will be like a humanities class around the philosophical kind of movement of existentialism and agency, and this would be some text that I would be doing. So my end text, it's a vertical text set, so the last text that we would read would be Jean-Paul Sartre's Existentialism is a Humanism. A very difficult text, very short however, but very difficult, so I would be needing to do a lot of the support on that reading. And it's more, if you're going to put the existentialism is an kind of humanism, it would be more on the expository end of kind of, it's like an analytical essay on philosophy. So it's going to be over here on this spectrum. However, I would start this theme with a book called The 3 Questions, which is a picture book, which is it's a picture book that uses based off of a Leo Tolstoy novel, and that Tolstoy novel really kind of deals with some really heavy existential themes. If this was face-to-face class, I'd actually read this book to you, but I'm not going to read it to you on video because, one, it's in my classroom in Fitzell, and so I don't have it. But that would be here. It's a picture book, so it's going to be on the aesthetic narrative side. And then I have some YouTube videos with philosophy professors to kind of explain kind of existentialism as a humanism. I have some content from Wisecracked, which talks about kind of Sartre's concept of bad faith. What is the project of being? What do they mean by existence precedes essence? Those type of things. So that would be kind of my tech set. And so if, as you're already hearing, I'm already going, I have multiple texts that are kind of spanning the spectrum. So that's another idea. Again, I have a better breakdown of all the texts I would use in another tech set, but this is how you should be thinking again about your tech set presentation. So your turn. So your turn is on this thread. You can record either video, you can record an audio presentation over a slideshow. It'd be a quick slideshow. I don't want you to spend a lot of time on this, but what I want you to do is pretend we're in a non-face-to-face, but you're with colleagues, and you're going to do a quick kind of 3 to 4 minute presentation on kind of what your theme is, why it's important for our students, what text you might be using, why you need to be using them, that type of presentation, similar to how I did my walkthrough for my teaching for sustainability Red Dragon course that I'll be teaching in spring. That video is in Module 2, so you can go look at that. But I want you to talk about your tech set like how I presented mine. One, this is going to help you kind of plan or revise your writing a little bit more and give you some more ideas to write around. So talking about your writing kind of helps plan for revision. So this is kind of a revision activity if you get my drift. So I'm going to be interested in seeing your talks about your tech sets. Again, keep it focus on writing the tech set proposal, but use this as a vehicle to kind of explain how you're planning and drafting what you're planning to turn in to your principal. And I will see you in the discussion thread.